MSNBC tonight at 8.
Religious voters are the base of the base, the very core of the Republican Party's electoral strategy and reality, for that matter. But Democrats clearly believe they can make some sort of support from the right. Are they right? Here to tell us, MSNBC political analyst and former presidential candidate Pat Buchanan, Democratic strategist Peter Fenn. Welcome to you both. Pat, we were just talking about this at the commercial break. I do think the single most significant thing Democrats could do to win over religious voters is to moderate their position on abortion. Do you think they're going to?
Well, I think you're right. I think about Casey up there in Pennsylvania. His father, of course, was a hero of right to life movement, and that helped him tremendously. I don't know that they are.
He crushed Rick Santorum.
He beat him by 20 points,
yeah.
19 points, yeah. I think that what they're going to do, Tucker, is this. They're going to de-demonize themselves with this, religiosity, if you will. Take positions like Hillary Clinton, abortion is a tragedy, and talk in those terms. And the purpose there, I think, is not so much to win over the evangelical Christians as to make themselves at least acceptable and not intolerable to that community. And in that, I think they're working on that strategy, and it'll probably make some gains.
But Peter, the base of the Democratic Party, if the base of the Republican Party is evangelicals in the Midwest, the base of the Democratic Party is, never married agnostic women on the coast with master's degrees. That's true, actually, as you know. If you're literally.
We do pretty well with single women.
Okay, yeah, you do.
I mean, you and I don't.
No, it's exactly right. Maybe if I was a Democrat, it would help. That's exactly the group of people who I believe are going to be alienated by ads like this. I want to put up an ad. This is Harold Ford during his ill-fated run for Senate. We don't have that ad. I was just being told. Harold Ford did an ad.
It's a great ad, actually.
Yeah, it is a great ad. Yeah. But he did an ad, essentially. It's also an appalling, nausea-inducing ad, because here you have Harold Ford wandering around this church saying, Jesus is on my side. I mean,
you know what he said, actually, in that ad? He said, I got religion the old-fashioned way. I was forced to go to church.
That is actually a great line.
That's
what
he
agree
said
with that.
in that ad.
Right.
But look, I think just as Democrats were late on Republicans taking the flag and seizing that, they were a little late on the religious side. I think it has been very difficult for a lot of our candidates to talk about their religious experience. John Kerry would not talk about it. He didn't want to talk about his Catholicism. He didn't want to talk about religion. And in this country, people want a three-dimensional sense of a candidate. They want to know what makes you tick, and part of it is your faith. And I think, as Jim Wallace just said, that's a big part of the New Democrats.
Well, Kerry had a problem when he mentioned John Paul the 23rd, as there was only John Paul II.
Right. No, or when Howard Dean said Job was his favorite book in the New Testament. I want to put, we now officially have the Harold Ford ad. As you watch this, ask yourself, if Harold Ford was a Republican, how well would this ad have gone over with the people who make opinions in this country? Watch this.
I started church the old-fashioned way. I was forced to, and I'm better for it. I'm Harold Ford Jr., and here I learned the difference between right and wrong. And now Mr. Corker's doing wrong. First spending millions telling untruths about his Republican opponents, both of them good men, and now me. I voted for the Patriot Act, $5 trillion in defense, and against amnesty for illegals. I approve this message because I won't let them make me someone I'm not, and I'll always fight for you. Give me that chance.
Now, organ music in the background. My opponent's doing wrong, he says as he walks through the pews. I mean, it's a very short distance from that to Jerry Falwell, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I don't find any problem with it. He's obviously exploiting the church, but as the guy said in Tennessee, Harold goes to church on Sunday morning, and Saturday night he's back at the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, give me a break.
I actually don't have a problem with that.
Party of 30,000 people. But look, here's the problem I think that Democrats have is they have, as I said, have always felt awkward about talking about their religion.
Why is that?
I think it's been they thought it was a private thing, and they thought it was something that they shouldn't wear on their sleeves. They thought they shouldn't use it for political purposes. But they're every bit as religious as
Republicans? No, the truth is they're less religious by and
Carter,
large. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Jimmy Carter was,
exactly.
and he used it. He was. That was my point. I mean, you had some folks who was part and parcel of who they were from the very beginning. And I think that what you're going to see is you're going to see folks expanding what it means to be religious, and that's just what Jim Wallace was talking about. It isn't just a group of social issues. It is about poverty in America and around the world. It is about Well, poverty, I would, it's a little more encompassing. It's about HIV/AIDS.
Right.
It's about how we treat.
They're going to use the social gospel. They'll go to the old social gospel and use those issues, you know, rather than the more traditional
But
ones.
as a matter of principle, isn't it wrong? Wait, hold on. Democrats tell us it's wrong to imply that God is on your side. That's out of bounds. That's dirty pool. Isn't it also wrong when Democrats do that?
Well, I mean, he didn't say God's on his side. He said this is where
I know the difference between right and wrong.
I learned my values. But listen, it's the Christian Coalition who put out voter guides, and they put political issues on there as one's. If you're for one, you're for God. God's for you. And I think that was outrageous. I think it was wrong. But that ad's not outrageous.
What do you mean? Look, let's take a look. Whose side is God on in an abortion? Whose side do you want?
I haven't talked to him lately. So
I mean, issues like gay rights and things like that. Look, that's right in the Old and New Testament. Those are moral issues. They're much more powerful. All of us are against poverty. We have different ways of dealing with it, whether it's a personal obligation or a federal government obligation. But when you get to these moral issues, they're black and white, yes or no questions.
But I think a lot of them are for people.
I'm hearing a call. I'm hearing a call. It's not from God. In fact, it's from one of my producers.
God and Secaucus. Okay.
Not much difference in TV. Coming up, before she admits a mistake.